Hey you, what up? Welcome to my channel or welcome back. Maryam here. In today's video, we are testing a lot of new makeup for the month of August. This is a video that I like to conduct every couple of weeks or so, not just to show you what we got in the newness category, but also to clean out my mess, test out the new stuff, find out what's good, what's new. So that is what you can expect in these types of videos. I like to apply all of these new products onto my face to also create a look and basically give you a first impressions type of verdict at the end. Don't buy till I try. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see all of my Wednesdays and Sundays videos. And now let's get into this Sunday video, testing new makeup for the month of August. Here we come. So as you may already probably have guessed, I don't have a new primer. That is because, well, I feel like good primers are really hard to come by. So whenever I find a primer that I like, I stick with it. And if you haven't gotten this one, Essence My Skin Tinted Primer, I'm just not gonna say anything anymore. I'm just gonna shut my mouth and I'm not gonna recommend it anymore because if you haven't gotten it, that's on you. Anyway, we have a new mirror today. We have a very bluesy vibe today. This one is from Kate Somerville. It's for their acne collection. Pretty cute. Anyway, I'm gonna be using my Hollywood Complexion by Charlotte T brush. I say Charlotte T because people don't like the way that I say her last name. I don't know how to properly say her last name. It just doesn't roll off my tongue the way that it's supposed to. So I just stopped saying it. So just applying this primer to my porous zones, smoothing them out, using that Wayne Goss method, clockwise, counterclockwise, closing those pores. And then whatever is remaining on the brush, just gonna smooth that over my forehead. My brows are already done. I used the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit and my NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen to lift, to snatch, and to perfect my brows. I think they look pretty cute today. Not evil, just right, you know? I don't know about you, but when my brows are great, I feel like the rest of my face looks better. I don't know, for some reason, my brows give me that little extra boost of confidence. So lately, I've been reaching a lot for my Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop. Shade 10 is what I wear. This one corresponds with my 290/300 foundation. So as you can probably tell, the rest of me looks a lot more tan. You see, I've gotten some sun. I've been going to the beach. I wear SPF, of course, but you know, my body naturally tans very easily, so I have to wear really heavy SPF in order to get like a nice even tan. But my face, I absolutely do not tan at all. But you can probably see that my freckles are a little bit more pronounced. I don't know. I wear like SPF 50 on my face, but the freckles somehow still get darker. So even though I love my freckles, I've been using this Fenty Eaze Drop because even though it's kind of like a blurring skin tint, it has a little bit more coverage than a skin tint. And it wears so well, it's so easy, it's so light. Now this isn't a new product, but it's something that I like to reach for whenever I need just a little bit more coverage, but still that same wear, like a skin tint, like a tinted moisturizer, and I do not go heavy-handed. So now you can see the freckles are still there, which we like, but they're not like crazy. They don't look like sunspots. They're just like a little bit more tamed. And then of course there are other days where I like to add more freckles using the Freck pen or the Lime Crime pen, but I guess it just depends on my mood. So now shade 10 is really good for my natural skin tone, but it's a little bit light for like the rest of me, so I probably should get a different shade. Me personally, I don't mind having a much lighter face than the rest of my body, especially in the summertime. I feel like it happens to everybody, it's very natural, but I'm a little bit bothered when I take a photo and my face is like 5 shades lighter than my body. That's when I'm a little bit thrown off, and that's when it starts to bother me, you know? I don't know if you're like that. Let me know. Do you match your natural face shade in the summertime when you're not tanning your face? Or do you go many shades darker to match the rest of your body? Or are you a unicorn and do you tan evenly all over? Face base looks cute. Gonna just blend this down to make everything a little bit more cohesive. In the concealer category, we don't have anything new per se. However, I do have a refill of my Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Full Coverage Concealer. This one is indeed very full coverage. Not sure if I should go lighter or if I should match. I guess let's go with shade 16. This is medium tan 16. Still gonna give me a little bit of brightness because this is a very full coverage concealer that smells like paint, and I personally love that scent, but not everyone's gonna love that scent, so just bear that in mind. I think shade 16 was a good choice. It's yellow. It's a little bit brighter, but it's gonna gonna actually match. I'm gonna use this Hourglass concealer brush to blend everything out. I feel like people sleep on Dose of Colors complexion products. They are so good. If you want glam, if you want full coverage glam, but if you want it to look natural, get this Meet Your Hue concealer and get the Meet Your Hue foundation. It's wonderful. Super quick and easy. Do you see that coverage? Do you see that nice natural brightness that it's bringing to my under eye? I wish I wasn't an oily AF skin girl. I wish I could just apply my face base like this and not have to set it with powder. I wish I was that girl, but I'm not that girl. So I'm going to set my under eye with the One Size translucent setting powder. This is by far my favorite powder for the under eye. I've been loving it for many months now. I've been saying it in pretty much all of my videos. It's very smoothing. It doesn't shift the color of your concealer or your foundation underneath. And for those reasons, I find it superior to, say, Laura Mercier. I know that's a favorite for a lot of people, and it was a favorite of mine for a long time. But I noticed that the Laura Mercier somehow always added this like veil of color to my foundation, and it just wasn't perfect, you know? This, on the other hand, is truly translucent. This is ideal. Also, it comes in two sizes. A mini travel size that you can basically purchase first to test it out because it's much cheaper. And then, of course, the full size. I use the travel size because it's so cute and so small and so handy. I love it. Okay, moving on. So now we have finally a lot of newness to test out in various categories. So I mentioned Laura Mercier because this brand has some new loose setting powders. Now these are called the Translucent Loose Setting Powder Light Catcher. I'm wondering how different this Light Catcher is from the Glow version of their translucent setting powder. That one I wasn't a fan of immediately. It wasn't something that I understood right away. But once I got a chance to watch a couple of tutorials, attend a couple of Zoom meetings for that product, I realized that it's better as an all-over glow type of product as opposed to an actual setting powder product. So I'm wondering if this is the same, if this is more glow or if this is less glow, or like what am I supposed to do with this? Anyway, this one comes in 3 shades. We've got Honey Star, which looks like a bronzy shade. We also have Celestial Light, and we have Cosmic Rose. Now these are supposed to be corresponding to some crystals, and the way that you can tell which color is which is by the top of the cap. This one is like a pale silver, which corresponds with selenite. This is a rose, which corresponds with a rose quartz, and the Honey Star is a little bit more yellow base, so it corresponds with a citrine. That's pretty cute. Thank you for the crystals, Laura Mercier. Let's like actually swatch these, because how are you going to be able to tell what shade these are? How am I going to be able to tell what shade these are unless I test? Okay, so here we have Celestial Light. I'm just gonna dip my finger into it and swatch here. Whoa. So that cannot possibly be a setting powder. It is very luminous, although it is micro fine. So I'm thinking this is definitely one of those all over glow types of products. All right, next we have Honey Star. Honey Star looks a little bit more flesh tone. But yeah, these are very luminous, even a pinch metallic. All right, and last but not least, here we have Cosmic Rose. Cosmic Rose, I'm gonna swatch over here so you could really see the difference between the 3. You saw in those close-ups, this powder looks very luminous, very reflective, almost like a loose pigment eyeshadow. So I'm not really sure how to use it, quite frankly. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to set my face with the One Size powder first. I'm gonna use my Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection from IT Cosmetics. By the way, all the products that I'm talking about, everything that I'm recommending, I'm listing down below in case you didn't know. And these are my affiliate links. So I do get a small commission from your purchase if you decide to purchase. You're absolutely not obligated to do so, but if you want to, you can. So this brush, a lot of people always ask me about, so I am gonna find it, I am gonna link it, I am gonna link everything that I'm talking about that I'm liking. So anyway, just gonna very gently add my One Size powder on top before I try out this Laura Mercier. I don't know, I'm a little bit intimidated, I gotta say. That was more than just luminous. That was reflective and sparkly. I just can't see that being used on the face, at least not on my face. But all right, I'm gonna go for the shade Honey Star. Let's actually go for a Laura Mercier powder brush. I think it's actually meant to be used with this specific brush. So what I'm gonna do is dip into this Honey Star, and I'm just gonna go intuitively. I'm thinking this feels like it needs to be just brushed across the face very lightly for a reflective type of glow. Shall we? That is quite lovely, actually. It is reflective, it is luminous, it does feel very fine, so I can't say that I hate it. I see that there's a purpose for it, and the purpose definitely is glow. The glow is very easily achieved. I would even say that this is a powder that you could probably use on your body just because of how glowy it is, and considering how much product you have in this package. Definitely a little bit goes a long way, and it's probably gonna take you a while to use this up. So yeah, definitely something that will probably work for the body. Translucent loose setting powder. I can't call this a setting powder though. This is definitely more of a finisher, more of a topper than an actual setting powder. So I'm not sure what they meant by that. I'm actually gonna try the Cosmic Rose. I'm gonna pick up a tiny bit with this brush. I'm gonna try that on the back of my hand. You see that? It's definitely adding a little something to the skin here. I don't know, maybe for a beach day or a pool day. I'm still trying to figure out what is the purpose for this product. Why would you want to be that shimmery in a setting powder format? Why? Let's set that aside. Let's move on to something else. So we've got some blushes from WUNDER. Of course, I'm gonna go for the peach one because that's what I always do. That looks pretty peach. All right, but this is what all the other colors look like. It's actually two peachy shades. One is called Peachy, the other one is called Rosy, but the Rosy is still very peachy. This one's just a little bit more orangey, like a tangerine orange. And then we also have a shade called Plummy. This one is plummy. I'm gonna set that aside. I guess let's go for the Rosy blush that actually looks peachy. I'm gonna use this Persona Cosmetics blush brush. Pick some up and just plop that right on top. Well, this is really lovely. This almost feels creamy. Definitely not a cream, still a powder, but it's a very creamy powder application. I love how buildable it is. I love how it's working with the Laura Mercier Glow Powder. Ultimately, I really like how it appears on my skin tone. But what else is new? I love peachy blushes. Whenever I see this type of color, I just gravitate towards it. That is a cat hair. All right, so now that we're essentially done with the face base and pretty much with the entire skin, let's move on to some eyeshadows. We actually have quite a few things in the eyeshadow category to test out. We have a new collection from ColourPop called Y2K. And if you're old like me, you remember Y2K. And if you were born after Y2K, then you probably think it's like the coolest aesthetic ever. Well, I don't actually remember it being that cool, even though I was very young at the time. I remember people thinking that the world was gonna end and something was gonna happen once the time shifts from 1999 to 2000. I remember it being a big deal. And part of me, being a kid and all, almost bought into it. But there was no aesthetic, there was no type of digital cyber vibes or anything like that. I think we're actually just like making that an aesthetic now as opposed to reliving what it was like. However, the butterfly clips were all the rage. We have the Y2K collection from ColourPop. Also, speaking of young and youthful, we also have this Saved by the Bell collection from Wet n Wild. This looks very cool. First of all, this looks like a high school locker. In fact, I think my high school locker in LaGuardia, which was my high school that I went to, was red. I did watch Saved by the Bell. Here is the collection. So here we have lots of different things. We have some blushes, we've got a fixing spray, we've got a mascara, we've got some lip kits. So cute. So we've got a Jessie, we got a Lisa Turtle, and we've got a Kelly lip kit. We also have an eyeshadow palette. We got a Screech. Oh, rest in peace. Here we have a Mario Lopez. Oh my gosh, this is so adorable. Okay, adorable, but it looks a little cheesy to me, if I'm being honest. I don't know, something about this color combo just feels a little kitschy, cheapy, and a little cheesy. Even though we love Saved by the Bell, this aesthetic is just a little too dollar store for me. I'm sorry. But anyway, I am interested in trying out the palette. Wet n Wild definitely is known for having some good eyeshadow palettes. Remember their Pac-Man collection from like a year or 2 years ago? That one really surprised me. It also looked equally as cheesy as the Saved by the Bell, but even more so because it was like 80s. It definitely felt like kids makeup, but once I tried that palette, I was floored. It was really, really good. Great quality, amazing colors. In fact, I think I still have it. I still think I reach for that yellow every now and then. So now trying to open these damn stickers. See, this is not a vibe. This is what I don't like about cheap makeup, is that the packaging is trash. Oh my God. Go Tigers, the Z plus K. Okay, so first impression, I think if this wasn't on a red background, I'd probably be a little bit more interested in the color palette, but given the fact that it's on this very bright, almost neon red, it's like throwing my eye off a little bit. I'm not really sure if I want to reach for any of these. Just my initial impression. Okay, next we've got the ColourPop Just a Glitch press palette. This one is in the blue or teal color combo. I kind of like this one. I feel like it matches my tie-dye vibes today. Contender. And last but not least, we have 6 palettes. Yeah, 6 palettes from Bare Minerals. These are called the Mineralist eyeshadow palettes. To be honest, I don't have high hopes. I'm not a huge fan of Bare Minerals eyeshadows. I think they're okay, but not really my cup of tea. Okay, what is going on with the kiddish vibes of these eyeshadow palettes? Why is everything feeling cheesy? This is like a little notebook paper situation with some very dusty looking colors inside. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Okay, let me open up another one just to see if it's the same situation. Oh, and we got another notebook, and we've got more very mediocre, average looking neutral colors. How much are these? Okay, so these are $32. They actually have pretty good ratings online. $32 for this very cheapy packaging and only 6 shades is kind of pricey for me. Although this is a cute idea, I guess, but do we really care for it is what I'm wondering. Okay, there's also blue in here called Stonewashed, so let me check out this one. Ooh, I don't know. These look very, very muted in person, but then I'm looking at my monitor and it actually looks a lot brighter than how it looks to the naked eye. I'm gonna have to test these out. So what I'm gonna do is prep my lids real quick. Just dust some of the One Size translucent setting powder on top of my lids, like that. And I guess, let's go for one of these shades. I'm gonna pick up the Heathered Violets palette from Bare Minerals. I'm gonna dip into this shade here called Buffed using a Lancome 17 brush. I'm gonna try to add that to my lid. I don't know, you guys, this is like very barely there. Minimalist or mineralist. Do you see any shadow on my lids? Maybe like a little bit, but I've picked up so much product and it's not really doing much. Okay, I'm gonna dip into this shade here called Azure, and this is from the Cool Grays and Blues palette. I'm gonna use a more concentrated brush. I think this is gonna have a bit more of payoff. Oh man. This is very see-through. I mean, I can see some people liking this, but for me personally, this is just too barely there. Also, it's not like it's super buildable. The colors aren't particularly pretty or flattering, so it's a no for me. And mind you, this is like the most colorful color out of all 3 of these palettes. Just for the sake of swatching these, oh my god, just dip my fingers into these dry AF eyeshadows and I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they are charging $32 for this ash and for this chalk. No way! These are flattering colors. No way! People are interested in this. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are interested in this, but I don't think it's the majority of people. I just realized you can take the palette out, but for what? These eyeshadows are not good quality. But maybe I shouldn't be so shocked. I wasn't expecting good quality eyeshadows from Bare Minerals. I feel like Bare Minerals is a brand that really excels at complexion products, and the eyeshadow genre is just not their forte. It's just not what they should be focusing on. I get it that they probably want to expand their line and add some mineral products to the eyeshadow category, but let's face it, mineral makeup is just not it when it comes to eyeshadows. We need pigment, or if we don't have pigment, we need something different. We need something else. This is not different, and it's also not good. And I love this brand and I love their complexion products. There's a lot of complexion products that I love from them, and I just hate to be disappointed, you know? But it is what it is. Let's move it along. So since we're going with this like bluesy vibe, this bluesy theme, let's actually dip into this ColourPop palette from the Y2K collection. Where is it? Where did it go? It was so small. Ah, here we go. Here it is. I find that with ColourPop eyeshadows, they could either be a hit or a miss as well. So I guess a step up from the Bare Minerals eyeshadows where I don't expect it to be good at all. These could potentially surprise me and be really good. But generally that happens with the Super Shock formula. So again, I'm not really sure what to expect effect. But this periwinkle shade right here is looking really, really cute to me. So I'm gonna dip into it. I'm gonna grab this eye crease brush from Mercier, dip into this shade. Ooh, pretty chalky, but that doesn't necessarily mean bad. Pretty color, definitely a step up from the Bare Minerals, but you see how it just like blends into nothing? Like I'm able to place the color, but then once I start blending it out, it just disappears. It's not really strong enough for the aesthetic. I feel that the whole Y2K cyberspace aesthetic is just a little bit more vibrant than how this eyeshadow is applying. Yes, it's pastel-y, but it's also very, very chalky, and it's not really sticking. But it's good enough. Let's go with this Chat Room. That looks promising. Oh yeah, okay. This is very frosty, but it's got a punch. Again, also not perfect, but for however much this is, it doesn't say here, but I don't suppose this is gonna be more than $10. This is a cute shade, and the color combo is nice. If you're into frosty, bluesy, cyberspace, cyber age, Y2K aesthetic, you might like this. Let me actually look it up. Just the Glitch palette. It's $10. For $10, I think it's cute. Definitely beats that $32 six-pan palette from Bare Minerals. All right, I'm gonna dip into Dial Up. And yes, I remember Dial Up. Remember that? And then if you are an AOL user, finally, you've got mail. The memories. Did you know me and Lee, aka Swatch Model, met on AOL? Actually, I had Instant Messenger because my mom was too cheap to get AOL. I had AIM. All right, this is very frosty, very Christina Aguilera back in like 99. Very like genie in a bottle vibes. I don't know. Truth be told, I wasn't much into eyeshadows or like frosty makeup back then. I think at that time, I was just starting to get into eyeliner, so I was big into the cat eye. I was big into brows and winged out liner. That was like my jam. I wasn't so much into frosty eyeshadow. I guess maybe you could say I wasn't mature enough for eyeshadow, and it was like a little intimidating to me for school and for things like that. But yeah, I definitely remember that L'Oreal, like Linear Intense, all of those 2000s brands. Or am I confusing that for like 2010s? Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. This is making me feel a little old, but it's fine. All right, I guess let's dip into like one more shade from this since we're having fun with it. Take a Bite with a Y. And let's maybe plop that to the center for a little lavender moment. It's giving a little something. I will say this palette has really nice shimmery shades if you're into frosty shades, but the matte is just okay. All right, let's quickly try this Wet n Wild Saved by the Bell palette. Wow, it opens like a Japanese book backwards. I'm actually gonna dip into this shade here called The Max. It's not actually called The Max, but there is an imprint. I don't know, what can I do here with this? Let's add that to the bottom, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Not very inspiring. Not very inspiring at all. Guys, I'm not loving any of these eyeshadows that I'm trying out today. Everything is very subpar. It's not really speaking to me. It's not making me feel excited. I don't like this feeling. All right, I'm gonna dip into the blue. Blue looks very, very vibrant. And hopefully I can fix this. I mean, I guess added a little bit of something that was needed, but now the look is appearing less as a cyberspace and more of like a summery ocean wave mermaidy type of look, which I don't mind. I'm just gonna take that first brush that I used, the big Lancome one that I used with Bare Mineral shadows. I can't even say it. They really offended me. All right, well, it's actually turning into something, isn't it? I'm gonna close out that palette. Just gonna let all of this marinate. I'm gonna let my opinions marinate. I'm gonna walk away from the eyes. I like the eyes, the way that they look. I can't say that I like the way that everything performed or the way that everything was feeling on my brushes, on my fingers. I will say it wasn't super difficult to create the look that is on my eyes, given the fact that these eyeshadows are all very sheer. They have this barely there essence to them. And so because of that, it's really easy to blend them. It's really easy to make them look like a wash of color. It's not like super complicated at all. But anyway, moving on. I have a new mascara to try out, and it is from ILIA, which is a brand that a lot of you guys seem to like. Again, I haven't really gotten into it. I haven't really found a product from ILIA that I am drawn to, but people speak highly of this brand, so I gotta give it a try. I'm gonna curl my lashes with a Lancome lash curler that matches my whole bluesy aesthetic today. This was not on purpose, by the way. And let's see, so this is supposed to be a Fullest volumizing mascara. Fullest is what it says. Wand is a bristle wand, but it's not super traditional. It's like shaped like an hourglass, which is not my favorite, but it's not something I dislike either. It's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start out by adding this product to the tips only. This is how I always apply my mascara because my lashes are straight and short. And this just ensures that I don't weigh them down. I don't mess up the curl. All right, it is adding a little something. It's adding some fullness, brushing them out. But I can't say this is better than anything else I'm already using. Personally, I think the wand is just a little too big for my smaller eyes. It's kind of hard to get into all the fine little crevices and catch all of my tiny little hairs. So I far prefer a skinnier wand, a tapered wand, or just a regular traditional boring old wand. This one's fine, but not fine enough. Keep getting mascara on my lids, and that is a little annoying because I do have eyeshadow on my lids that I'm gonna need to fix after this dries. So I don't know. I'm getting the sense that this testing new makeup video is not going so well for me so far. Everything that I've tried outside of the blush has just been okay, or it's been a little weird. Like, why? So I don't know, it may be one of those videos where you guys are not super happy with me. I don't know. Don't be mad at the messenger. Let's move on to the highlighter, shall we? I guess, we're here, so might as well just go for it. So this is also from the ColourPop Y2K collection. This one is called Still Loading, because that's what websites used to do back then. It used to take a while to load, and it used to say still loading. Kind of vaguely remember that. So this looks very lavender, but you know what? It could be fun. I kind of remember the lavender highlighter trend, and back then the highlighter was really only applied to the temple, just to give that very ethereal glow. Do you see that? I feel like this could still be a vibe today. Just like a little hint of something, like something alien-esque, something more spacey, you know? Definitely not for every day, but it could be something playful and something different, just to try. Moving on to the lips. In the lips category, there's really only one thing I'm really eager to try. Well, actually two, but I'm really only gonna try this one thing. So Artist Couture has these new lip oils, and this one here is called Delicious Silky Lips, and it just looks beautiful, like cotton candy melted into a gloss in a tube, and I really want to test it out. I love the giant wand. I love the bubblegum scent. I love the slight hint of pink. So this to me feels less like an oil and more like a gel. So it's not a gloss either. It's not goopy, but it feels very comfortable on the lips. I've heard really great things about it. It's consistently sold out on Artist Couture and on Sephora where it's sold. I think the people have spoken. This is a favorite product of the people, and I gotta say it feels pretty nice. Nothing like super revolutionary or anything like that, but comfortable and does the job, you know? I'm glad I ended on a positive note because let me tell you, this video did not go according to plan. It started out kind of good with me using my favorite products, and then it started turning a little sideways with the introduction of some new products. Some weird products that I didn't really understand, like for example this Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder Light Catcher. This is definitely not marketed as a highlighter, however, it definitely feels a little more like a glowy highlighter metallic type of product, but it's supposed to be for your entire face, or maybe perhaps for your body. So yeah, not sure how I feel about this particular product just yet. I definitely think I need to try it out a little bit more, definitely wear it on the body like I mentioned, and then give you a full-on verdict rather than a first impression. This, although I love Saved by the Bell, this palette felt very cheapy to me, and also I didn't really get the color story. I didn't really understand the red background. I couldn't appreciate the colors within the palette. It just felt very flimsy to me, very cheaply made, dollar store equivalent type of packaging. Though the two eyeshadows that I did try were okay. They were okay. They weren't terrible. This palette was also just okay to me. It's just a glitch better, you know? The colors are cute, but will I keep it and will I continue reaching for it? Probably not. I have these colors already in better quality eyeshadows, so I'll just stick to that. But for $10, I think this is pretty good. This is pretty decent, especially if you are a teenager and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a color story like this. It's probably good for someone like that. Let's see. Moving on to the Bare Minerals Mineralist palettes. These, again, feel very juvenile, but they are $32 for only 6 eyeshadows. And the eyeshadows themselves don't feel young, don't feel hip. They don't feel like the cutesy young vibe of the palette. In fact, I feel like these colors are very muted, very dull, very dusty, stale, and boring. And the quality of these shadows actually really shocked me. It was pretty dry, pretty flaky, pretty transparent, translucent, and just not there. It just was not giving me any sort of vibe. I definitely understand the need for a less pigmented shadow, something that feels a little bit airier, something that feels like a wash-up color, and I think I was able to kind of achieve that with the look today, especially if you see this up close. I will show you a close-up. This definitely feels a lot lighter than some of the eyeshadows that I typically gravitate towards, but although I was able to make it work, I have to say I didn't really have fun with it. The making it work aspect is never really fun for me. I always like to let the product speak to me, and I like it when they allow me to be able to create whatever I want. But in this instance, I just found myself trying to make it work, trying to perfect it, trying to make it better, so none of it really impressed me. The ILIA mascara, I have to say, was probably the better product of all the eye products that I tried today. Even though I hated the wand, it was far too big for my smaller eyes and shorter lashes. The product itself is pretty good. The fact that I can see my lashes on my monitor, and my monitor is at least 12 feet away from me, it's telling me that my lashes are visible. Basically, that's pretty much all I want from mascara. I want it to make my natural lashes more visible, but I definitely think this could use a better wand. And last but not least, the Artist Couture lip oil is definitely very cute, definitely very fun. It feels really comfortable on the lips, and that is pretty much the only product that I can say I actually liked from today's trial. Outside of the WUNDER 2 blushes, these were actually surprisingly really nice and very creamy and silky to the touch. They apply beautifully, not patchy at all. These two products I like. Everything else from today's trial was subpar. It just didn't make me feel like anything I would reach for again and be enthusiastic to try again. So that is my bottom line for today's video. Although not the best trial, but still I think I was able to create a look that is kind of fresh. I just posted it on my stories and my best friend texted me. She said it's giving her mermaid vibes and she liked it, so at least I was able to please one person with it, and that is my best friend. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this different type of trial. Hey, it's okay. Not everything can be good. Not everything can be great. I'm not going to like everything. You're not going to like everything, but let's definitely not buy things before I try them. Let me try them, let me test them out, let me tell you how they are, and then only then, if they're great, if they pass the test, then you can buy them. All right, I am going to zoom on out so that you can check out more videos over here. Click on them, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah. Peace out.